say yes. I need you to do more and say less. I won't just say yes. Need you to do more and say less. I thought you knew that anybody can do that.
I spent a little time with Oprah last night. I was watching her
How
special.
you doing?
Hey, Oprah,
Oh,
and
hey.
I remembered I miss her. I was like, oh, this is what Oprah used to. That used to be. They used to be my jam. At 4 o'clock, I was like ABC. I was
Yeah.
on it. Oprah does this. She needs to come on back and do more of this. So she did a whole special on Ozempic and Wegovy and all of the things, talking to people. And she's on it. And I was,
Hmm.
I had very strong opinions about the side effects, and I don't want us to just be doing stuff because we don't know. But apparently they've been researching this stuff for like 10, 20 years. And Oprah's like, why ain't y'all tell me? I've been out here struggling,
Uh,
struggling for
yes.
all these years. I ain't have to struggle. So
They've been
it,
researching it for diabetes, not as much for weight loss, but yes, they have been doing it for, I guess, almost like a decade. I think like 18 plus years now.
yeah.
Um,
Well, so what is that a difference without a distinction? Because if the side effect of diabetes medicine is weight loss, what's the difference?
right, right. So, and we, I mean, everyone who is overweight does not necessarily have diabetes, so we first have to know that. But I'm excited to talk about this. When you said we were going to talk about this, I was like, I was avoiding watching it, but I decided let me take a look. So I think that a lot is going on with Ozempic. Ozempic is for diabetes. It is not approved by the FDA for weight loss yet. You know, that's an off-market use, but we are seeing it. Those people like me who have diabetes are
Oh,
running into a
wait, you just put that
shortage.
out there. Okay, hold on.
No, I have
So
diabetes, but I'm diet controlled, you know. I'm doing great. But even my doctor did ask me, like, are you interested in Ozempic? And I was like, I don't know. Let me think about it. I guess there's a lot when we think about, you know, diabetes, controlling your health. Can I do it on my own? And I think that what she talked about a lot was a sign of, is it seen as a sign of weakness to get the medication? And why is
mm-hmm,
that happening? My concern is not that it's a sign of weakness. Like if there's a medication to help you with something, whether it's diabetes, depression, obesity, whatever, why can't we partake in it? But I think also people should be honest because there is an image you're putting out there, just like people who have surgery. Great, but don't go on Gram and say that I'm doing this by weight loss and diet and exercise when you know that you were over there getting a mommy makeover. And no shade to that. Like if I'm gonna save my coins so I can get a mommy makeover one day, but let people know the truth about what you're doing. And I think that's why there was a controversy about it because she initially wasn't open about whether or not she was
mm,
using a weight loss drug. And then they said there was a conflict of interest because of Weight Watchers. And like, just be honest is what I think. And I think that
right.
if we are honest about it, it will help with the stigma. Well, tell me what you
This,
think, though.
so I was a couple of things. First of all, we have been conditioned to shame people for everything, and I
Differences,
think
yeah.
that the shame comes in the lack of comfort in yourself. So you are looking out to ridicule or to shame other people so that you can feel better about yourself. I feel like that's the root of shame is insecurity, right? So you're going to point out somebody's fat or somebody's this or somebody's black or somebody's, what you're so black. We do these things to make ourselves feel better as opposed to
True.
making ourselves feel better. So if
True.
you got to feel better to put somebody down, Toni Morrison said, if you have to be tall by standing on somebody, what good are you? Are you any good? And my
Exactly.
answer is no. But we've learned this on the playgrounds, maybe in our homes,
In your homes,
maybe.
in your
Yeah.
family, like
Yeah.
fat shaming is real and
So,
it's
yeah. So it spills out into society and it becomes normal. It struck me when Oprah talked about the amount of articles about her weight and we all participate. Every black comedian, if you watch Comic View, if you watch Def Jam Comedy, and it was an Oprah
right.
joke, it was always about her being fat, and no one ever considered how she felt about that. Do you know what I'm
I
saying? To see
know.
whole articles with your name and your weight on your actual weight and numbers on a damn TV guide or something. I was like, whoa,
And they were calling her
we,
dumpy, frumpy,
oh my,
whatever that
frumpy,
headline
all, yeah.
was.
I'm like,
And
yo, this, what does that do? I
what does
mean,
that do
and
to her mental health? And you, and
yes.
literally your job, your profession, your career is showing up and people are just judging you. So, and how would other people feel if your medical conditions were just paraded across images and media and people commented on that? Like it's very personal, but some things are out in the public eye. And I think it's interesting that it's, cultural and society, because in some societies, like the more weight you gain, the more prosperous you are, right? So in some societies, like, oh, they're like, especially I feel like across the diaspora in African countries, I remember reading this book by a Kenyan author that I can't remember, and they were talking about how, oh, everyone wanted a fat husband or everyone wanted their wives to be fat because that meant that you had status, that meant you had money, that meant you weren't starving. But we come over here and that's something that people make fun of and laugh at, and it starts in your home. It starts with little kids, like, kids get nicknames Fat Fat and Chub Chub and Fats and all those things, which are endearing until they're not, right? Until people are making fun of you. Like, I don't know if you watched the whole special with the girl who was talking about what it was like when she was almost 300 pounds at 11. I'm like, 300 pounds at 11, like, I can't even fathom what that would be like and to go through that. So I think it's helpful. The medications are helping. Just be honest
So,
about them and be
yeah,
honest and understand the side effects and how they work.
psychologically, I also wanted to have a conversation. Dr. Daniel Hairston is here. 866-801-8255. The more you learn, hopefully the more compassion you have, the more, because we usually also speak out of our ignorance against against things. So I never wanted to, I was like, initially I'm like, willpower, like don't run to the easy thing because,
Right.
but then as Oprah's talking, she was like, the voices in my head aren't the same as somebody else's, like and the young girl, I think it was the same one you were talking about, said she stopped focusing on food when she started taking the medicine. Like her
Right.
inner voice that was like, when are we eating? What am I eating next? While I'm eating, how can I eat more? All of the things that she was, that was happening in her head, the silence, she said it got silenced. And she was like, is this how other people are? Like, wow.
Oh, this
Like
is
food
what life
became
is
not
like.
as important. I was like, a drug can do that? How does that
Well,
work, Dr. Hairston?
a drug can do that because, well, first, I am not boarded in obesity medicine. Let me just say I
Yep.
have some boards, psychiatry, neurology, consultation, but obesity medicine is not mine, even though there are a lot of psychiatrists who are boarded in obesity medicine. And that tells you a lot, right? Like psychiatrists are heavy in that field because of the psychological impact and the psychiatric implications for this. But the way that Ozempic or Wegovy, or I forgot the name of the pill one, whatever, how they work is it's a GLP agonist. It's going to be a really short medical school class for us. And it's a hormone that basically is made in your small intestine and it's received in your brain and also in your pancreas. And the hormone tells you, okay, I need more insulin. I got a lot to break down. I need more insulin to break it down. It also does some slowing in your gut. So when something is slowing in your gut, it's telling you, oh, you're full, right? So I'm full. I don't need to focus on eating. My brain is getting this sensation and this signal that I'm full. So I don't have to be thinking about this. So that's how the sensors and the receptors in your brain work with the receptors in your gut, your small intestine, your pancreas. So you're saying, I'm full, things are slowing down here. Um, Things are broken down faster. I'm full. I don't need to eat. I can focus on other things. And that's how we see the connection between the psychological aspect and what your gut is literally doing. So there are like Noom, the diet thing that was like psychological and like behavioral, kind of like a therapy to get you to forget these things. So it can be done, right? It can be done without medication. But that takes a lot, just like we know therapy takes a lot. It takes years. People are in therapy for decades to get past trauma, to work through things. So, I mean, if there was a pill that helped you to work through all your mental health things, then I guess people would take that too. But I think it is faster, it's helpful, and people see that, they see that immediate relief. They feel that weight loss. They see in the mirror that I look different. They see because this medication is helping me, people are receiving me differently. And I think that was important also. Like I am treated differently. Even my children are treated differently when they're with me. Versus,
Wow.
oh, like look at this fat mom. She doesn't even care about these kids. So there's a lot that goes on to it. So I understand why psychiatrists are being heavy in this field and why they're looking at it. So but the shame of it is I'm attached this to the same thing as with addiction, right? Like, oh, that's your habit. That's your habit. That's something that should be punished. It's something that you can go to jail for versus it's an addiction versus it's a medical condition, a use disorder that should be targeted. And just like we've seen the shift somewhat in there with addiction, with medications. We've seen that with, the pills, with opiates, with alcohol. Food is also something that people are addicted to. And I think it's even more difficult for you to let go of all the carbs, the rice, the bread, just on the same level as alcohol and opiates and cigarettes and those things as well.
Mm. We're talking with Dr. Danielle Hairston, a DOC named Danny. She's also a Nubian. She's the psychiatry residency director at Howard University. As I was watching this also, and I wonder how many of you are using, what's the name of it's not just, Wegovy and Ozempic. It's a particular kind of drug. I forgot the name of it now. The
GLP
GLP.
one agonist, so
Okay.
glucagon
Gluc
like peptide agonist. So agonist is acts like. So it acts like something that's already produced in your body. It's giving you a boost. It's giving you some more of that. Even though it is something that your body produces, it's something like it. So it's telling you the things that maybe your body is not telling you enough of.
When I initially saw this, I was like, we don't know the side effects. But I sounded to myself like people talking about the vaccine for COVID.
Ooh.
I caught myself. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Because,
Okay.
yes, that's what I was feeling about
Yes.
myself. So I had to
I
talk to
was
myself.
talking about this with one of my patients because she started taking Ozempic and she said, "Wait a minute, y'all didn't tell me about all the side effects." I was like, "They did tell you about them, like GI upset." She was like, "I didn't understand that loose booty was gonna happen," and I was like, it is like it's gonna happen, like diarrhea, GI upset, feeling nauseous, feeling like you want to throw up. People do say that sometimes they are not able to make it to the bathroom when they get that urge because, like I said, it's messing with your GI tract. So if it's slowing stuff down and then suddenly you get that push, you gotta go. So
Right.
there is that to consider.
Be close at
Also,
home.
yeah, yeah. So if you, especially, I was a friend said that they weren't coming to an event, and they said because they were increasing their dose, and they didn't want any type of problems to come out to dinner and be out the house with that. So you have to be mindful of those things.
Uh, but some would say, because that was the question on the table, is the disease of diabetes or obesity more uncomfortable than the side effects? And if the answer is yes, then there you have it. The little
Right, you have to
nausea and
decide that for
diarrhea
yourself.
is for some people. If you're 300 pounds, you'll take the diarrhea and the nausea
Right,
if it means you could lose 100 to 150 pounds in this way. I think Oprah looks amazing. I think she
hmm
also because she looks like she says she runs, she works out. That is not, it looks tight, you know. She also is rich, so she could she
right.
can do a lot of things that
Do
many of us
all of the
cannot.
things, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
lifestyle modifications, lifestyle changes, diet changes are all important. They tell you that, just like they say with weight loss surgery, like you can't just get the surgery and assume that you're going to be great from here on out. You still have to pay attention. And they said it's not like, oh, I don't want to eat the cake and the donuts and the rice and peas and all of that. It's just that I want to eat less because, again, we have the satiation feeling like I'm now full, but I still want that. Like I still want to eat that. So you still do have to make these changes, you know, low carb diets and things like that. And that's not easy either. And I think that people call the medication the easy way out, but that's not easy either, like keeping up with it. And it is something that you probably have to stay on for the rest of your life. Like studies have shown that when people stop taking it, they go right back to gaining weight.
say less. I won't just say yes. Need you to do more than say less. I thought you knew that.